Hey there, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Huh.
Today we're going to be tackling something
Yeah.
that might sound kind of intimidating at first.
Mm.
The mathematical theory of communication.
Yeah.
Now, you've sent over some excerpts from Claude Shannon's groundbreaking paper,
Yeah.
and trust me, this stuff is like the bedrock
Oh, it is. Yeah.
of how we understand information itself,
Absolutely.
like from language to the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It's all built
All right.
on these principles.
It is.
So
Yeah.
get ready to have your mind blown.
I think what's so fascinating about this theory
Okay.
is its ability to kind of reveal like the hidden structure and the logic behind things we just take completely for granted.
Yeah.
It's like having a secret decoder ring
Uh-huh.
for the world of information.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
So first things first, what exactly did Shannon even mean
Right.
by a communication system?
So he breaks it down into 5 key components. You have an information source, like where the message originates, right?
Yeah.
Then there's a transmitter,
Okay.
which converts that message into a signal.
Right.
This signal travels through a channel. Think of it like the medium of communication. On the receiving end, we have the receiver, which picks up that signal and converts it back into a message. And finally, there's the destination,
Okay.
the intended recipient of the message.
All right, so that makes sense. So it's like sending a text message.
Yeah.
I'm the source.
Yeah.
My phone's the transmitter.
Exactly.
The cellular network is the channel.
Uh-huh.
My friend's phone is the receiver.
Yep.
And my friend is the destination.
Perfect example.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Yeah.
Shannon also highlights the crucial role of noise
Okay.
in any communication system.
Okay.
Noise is essentially anything that interferes with the signal along the way, potentially distorting the message.
Okay. So like
Yeah.
so like when my call drops because of bad reception,
Exactly.
that's noise messing things up.
That's noise, yeah.
But I'm guessing Shannon
Yeah,
wasn't just thinking about phone calls
right.
when he
No,
developed this theory, right?
you're absolutely right.
Right.
His theory isn't limited to any specific technology.
Okay.
It applies to all forms of communication,
Right.
from telegraphy,
Okay.
computers,
Yeah.
even human language.
Hold on. Human language.
Yeah.
So my rambling conversations with friends
Yeah.
have some underlying mathematical structure,
Yeah,
like sending signals through wires.
that's right.
That's pretty wild.
It might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but yes, the same principles apply.
Okay.
Shannon was interested in measuring information,
Okay.
quantifying it, regardless of the specific form it takes. And that's where the math comes in.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Right.
But I took a peek at Shannon's paper. And to be honest, it was a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
How did he actually go about measuring information?
He used a clever approach
Okay.
involving logarithms, which I know sounds complex,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty intuitive.
Okay.
Once you grasp the concept,
Right.
the key insight is that the amount of information a message carries
Okay.
is related to how surprising it is.
Oh, wait, surprise.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with information?
Think about it this way.
Okay.
If you receive a message that you already knew was coming,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't really tell you anything new.
Okay.
It's not surprising.
Right.
Therefore, it doesn't carry much information.
Okay.
But if you receive a message that's unexpected,
Yeah.
something you couldn't have predicted,
Right.
it carries more information because it reduces your uncertainty
Okay.
about the world.
So like a text message that just says, "Good morning," is less informative
Yeah.
than one that says, "I just won the lottery."
It-
The first one is expected.
Uh-huh.
The second one would be like a total shock,
Totally unexpected.
and therefore carries more information.
And that's where logarithms come in.
Okay.
They provide a way to mathematically quantify the surprise factor,
Okay.
allowing us to measure information in a very precise way.
Yeah.
Shannon used logarithms
Okay.
to define the concept of a bit,
Okay.
short for binary digit,
Right.
as the fundamental unit of information.
So a bit is like a unit of surprise.
You got it.
Okay.
The more surprising a message,
Yeah.
the more bits it has.
That's the great way to put it.
And this concept of the bit
Yeah.
is the backbone of digital communication.
Okay.
It's why we measure file sizes in kilobytes, megabytes, and so on.
Right.
Each of those is simply a measure of how many bits of information are stored in that file.
This is really making me think differently.
Yeah.
About all the information we encounter every day.
It's everywhere.
But we were talking about language before.
Yeah.
How does this idea of surprise relate to, like, words and sentences?
Well, Shannon recognized that natural language, like English, has inherent statistical structure.
Okay.
Certain letters and words are more common than others, and they tend to appear in somewhat predictable patterns.
Okay.
He wanted to explore how this structure affects the information content of language.
So like how the letter E is used way more often than Q.
Exactly.
Making Q more surprising.
Yeah.
And potentially carrying more information in a message.
That's right.
Okay.
Shannon even created what he called artificial languages to model the statistical properties of English.
Interesting.
He started with a basic model where all letters were equally likely.
Okay.
And then he progressively added more and more structure to see how it affected the information content.
Okay, so what do these artificial languages actually look like?
All right, so
give me an example.
He starts with a zero-order approximation where all letters have the same probability of occurring.
Right.
You get gibberish, like XFOML, RXK, HRJ, FFJUJ.
Okay.
Completely random.
Yeah.
No structure whatsoever.
Sounds like my cat walking across the keyboard.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he moves to a first-order approximation.
Okay.
Where letters have the same frequency as in English, but they're still chosen independently.
Right.
This gives you something like OCRO, HLI, RGWR, and Meal Ilwis.
Okay.
It's still not English.
Right.
But you can start to see hints of it.
Yeah, it's starting to resemble actual words, even if they don't form coherent sentences.
Right.
Interesting.
So what happens next?
So what happens next?
He continues adding layers of structure.
Okay.
In the second order approximation, he introduces denogram structure.
Okay.
Meaning the probability of a letter depends on the letter before it.
Okay.
You're more likely to see TH than XZ, for example.
Right, right.
And with this, his example becomes onate. Ansitnes are tin in tor cent bis dimi.
Getting closer, right?
It is.
Wow, yeah. I can almost see some real words in there.
You can.
So he keeps adding more layers, gradually making it more and more like English.
Precisely.
Okay.
And with each layer,
the
information content per letter decreases.
Okay.
Because the sequences become more predictable.
Okay.
He even creates approximations using whole words.
Okay.
His second order word, approximation, which considers the probabilities of word pairs, produces something like the head and infrontal attack on an English writer. That the character of this point is therefore another method. Still a bit nonsensical, but it has the rhythm and cadence of real English.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So does this imply that we could theoretically compress English text?
That's a brilliant insight.
Making it shorter, but still understandable.
Yeah.
By exploiting these statistical patterns.
And it's one of the key takeaways from Shannon's theory. He demonstrates that redundancy, the repetition of information, isn't just wasted space. It's actually a crucial part of language.
Interesting.
Making it more resilient to errors.
So even though it might seem inefficient, the redundancy in English actually makes it more...
It does.
Robust and reliable.
It does.
That's pretty counterintuitive.
It is. But think about it. If every letter and word in English carried the maximum possible information, a single typo could completely change the meaning of a sentence. Redundancy acts like a safety net, ensuring that our messages get across even when there's noise or interference.
Gotcha. Okay.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground so far.
Yeah, we have.
From bits and surprise to artificial languages.
That's right.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to wrap my head around how all of this connects to, like, my everyday life.
Yeah.
Does Shannon's theory actually have any practical implications?
It might surprise you to know that Shannon's work is woven into the very fabric of our digital world. It affects everything. From how we design communication systems to how we protect our information online.
Color me intrigued.
All right.
Give me an example.
Let's go back to that idea of channel capacity, which we touched on earlier.
Yep.
Remember, this refers to the maximum rate at which we can reliably send information over a given channel.
Right, it's like how much data we can squeeze through an internet cable.
That's right.
Or a wireless connection.
Yep.
Without losing any of it along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of the limitations imposed by channel capacity, engineers are constantly seeking ways to enhance the efficiency of communication.
Right.
This is where clever coding techniques come into play. Finding ways to represent information using fewer bits. So we can transmit more data in the same amount of time.
So this is where we get into like data compression, right?
Yeah, got it. Data compression algorithms, like the ones used for MP3 music files or JPEG images, are essentially exploiting the redundancy in the data to represent it more efficiently. They eliminate unnecessary bits while preserving the essential information.
So when I'm streaming music on my phone, Shannon's theory is at work behind the scenes.
It is.
Making sure I can listen to my favorite tunes without using up all my data.
That's right. It's more than just entertainment, though. Consider cryptography. The art of secure communication. Shannon made fundamental contributions to this field as well.
Interesting.
His work laid the foundation for modern encryption techniques, which are essential for safeguarding our privacy and security online.
Wait, so when I'm sending a private message or making an online purchase,
that's right.
Shannon's ideas are helping to keep that information safe.
Exactly.
From prying eyes.
That's precisely it.
Wow.
His research demonstrated how we can use mathematical principles to create codes that are incredibly difficult to crack. Even by the most powerful computers.
This is mind-boggling.
It is.
I had no idea that this seemingly abstract theory had such profound real-world applications.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we're just scratching the surface here.
Absolutely. Shannon's work has left an indelible mark on countless fields.
Give me another example.
For example, in artificial intelligence, his ideas are being used to develop algorithms that can understand and generate human language.
So like those chatbots and voice assistants.
Exactly.
That seem to be getting smarter every day.
That's right.
We're benefiting from Shannon's work, too.
That's right.
Wow.
And the applications extend beyond language as well. Shannon's theory has influenced our understanding of how biological systems like the brain.
Wow, so it's not just about machines.
No.
It's about how we as humans think and communicate.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
It truly is one of the most remarkable aspects of this theory. Its ability to bridge the gap between the artificial and the natural, between technology and biology. It provides a powerful lens for understanding information in all its forms.
I'm starting to see the big picture here. But let's circle back to something we discussed earlier. Noise. Shannon emphasized that noise is an inherent part of any communication system. So how does his theory help us deal with that?
So
in practical terms.
Remember how we talked about redundancy in language? Shannon's work showed that redundancy isn't just wasted space. It actually plays a vital role in overcoming noise by repeating information in different ways. We make our messages more robust and less susceptible to errors.
So like how a little static on the radio doesn't prevent us from understanding what's being said.
The redundancy built into language allows us to fill in the gaps and reconstruct the intended message, even when parts of it are missing or distorted. And this principle applies to much more than just spoken language.
Can you give me another example?
Consider error-correcting codes. These are special codes designed to detect and correct errors that might occur during transmission. They're used in everything from hard drives to spacecraft communication.
So like when my computer recovers from a hard drive crash, or when NASA receives a clear image from a probe millions of miles away. Despite a faint signal. That's error correction at work.
You got it.
Error-correcting
codes add redundancy to data. In a very clever way. They enable us to transmit information reliably. Even across channels riddled with noise.
It's like Shannon found a way to outsmart noise itself.
In a way, that's exactly what he did.
Using the power of mathematics.
He showed us that by understanding the nature of noise and designing our systems accordingly, we can overcome its limitations.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on how communication works. It's not simply about sending a message from point A to point B.
That's right.
It's a complex process.
It is.
With underlying mathematical principles.
Absolutely.
That influence everything from our devices.
That's right.
To the way we use language.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Okay.
Shannon's work is a testament to the power of abstract thinking. He took a seemingly simple concept communication and developed a rigorous mathematical framework that has revolutionized our world.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to grasp the power of this theory.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's not just a bunch of equations on a page.
That's right.
It's a blueprint for how we communicate effectively.
That's right.
In a world filled with noise and uncertainty.
It is.
But I'm curious, are there any aspects of Shannon's theory that you find particularly challenging or counterintuitive?
Yeah. There are definitely some aspects of Shannon's theory that are particularly intriguing. One that stands out to me is the way it blurs the line between information and meaning.
Right.
Shannon's focus was primarily on ensuring the reliable transmission of a signal, regardless of its content.
Right.
But we as humans are wired to seek meaning.
Right.
We don't just exchange data. We share stories, emotions, and ideas.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
I can send a string of emojis to a friend.
Right.
And technically, that's information being transmitted.
Right.
But without any context, without a shared understanding. Those emojis are essentially meaningless. They're just symbols.
Exactly. Shannon provides us with a framework for the mechanics of communication.
Right.
But the human element, the interpretation, the emotional resonance, that's where things get truly complex and fascinating.
It's like he gave us the building blocks.
Yeah.
But we get to decide what kind of structure to create.
That's right.
What kind of story to tell.
Exactly.
And speaking of building blocks, it's incredible to think about.
It is.
How much our communication tools have evolved since Shannon's time. We've gone from like telegrams and rotary phones to instant messaging and video calls.
That's right.
So do you think this shift has fundamentally changed how we think?
That's a good question.
About information itself.
That's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
The sheer volume of information we encounter daily
Right.
is mind-boggling compared to what people experienced like decades ago.
Yeah.
Has this abundance made information less valuable?
Right.
Or has it simply made it more readily available?
It often feels like we're drowning in information. There's so much content.
There is.
So many opinions.
So many.
It's hard to know what to focus on.
It is.
What to trust.
Yeah.
Does Shannon's theory offer any guidance on how to navigate this information overload?
While Shannon didn't directly address this issue, his emphasis on efficient communication might hold a clue.
Okay.
He was deeply concerned with finding the most economical way to encode and transmit a message.
Right.
Perhaps we can apply that same principle to how we consume information.
Okay.
Being selective.
Okay.
Prioritizing quality over quantity. Recognizing patterns of redundancy.
Right.
These could be valuable strategies inspired by Shannon's thinking.
So it's like a good data compression algorithm eliminates unnecessary bits.
That's right.
We need to develop our own mental filters.
I think that's a brilliant analogy.
To cut through the noise and find the signals that truly matter to us.
We're constantly bombarded with messages.
Yeah.
And being mindful of which ones we let through.
Right.
Which ones we amplify or ignore.
Right.
That's becoming a crucial skill in the information age.
And this circles back to the concept of noise, right?
It does.
Shannon was dealing with literal noise in a communication channel.
That's right.
But we have all sorts of metaphorical noise in our lives.
Oh, we do.
Distractions, biases, misinformation.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere we look.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Learning to recognize and filter out that noise,
right,
whether it's literal or metaphorical, is essential for effective communication and clear thinking. It's about cultivating a critical lens through which we view the world.
So understanding Shannon's theory can empower us.
I think so.
To be better communicators and more discerning consumers of information.
Absolutely.
It's like having a secret weapon
Yeah.
in the fight against information overload.
Right.
And the spread of misinformation.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
The more we understand about the underlying principles of communication,
Right.
the better equipped we are to navigate a world increasingly shaped by information exchange.
It's certainly made me think differently about every email I write, every article I read, every conversation I have.
That's great.
I'm much more aware of the structure, the potential for noise, the importance of shared understanding.
That awareness is key.
Yeah.
And remember, just as Shannon's theory showed, that a bit of noise
can sometimes be beneficial, perhaps a little chaos in our information consumption.
Okay.
Isn't a bad thing either.
Interesting.
It can challenge our assumptions, expose us to diverse perspectives, and prevent us from getting trapped in our own echo chambers.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't be afraid to embrace a little uncertainty, a little surprise.
I agree.
After all, as Shannon's work so elegantly demonstrated,
it did.
That's often where the most valuable information lies.
Indeed. So, to our listener, what stands out to you from all of this?
Yeah.
How do you plan to apply these insights to your own life?
Yeah.
As we navigate this ever-evolving landscape of information.
Right.
Let's remember Claude Shannon's legacy.
Yes.
The power of clear thinking, rigorous analysis, and a deep appreciation for the elegance of communication in all its forms.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep questioning,
yes,
and keep diving deep. And we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.